Hello, my name is Sonia and this is Michelle. We are here to talk to you today about media. The title of this session is called Media Beware, Children Use with Caution. Now what we'd like to do is kind of give parents a guide as to help children navigate through this wonderful, wonderful web of media. So we're going to give you the points because it will help you to help them. Now, unlike any time in history, we know that our children are being bombarded with information from various sources. That is good information and bad information. So if we are informed, then we can better inform them. So let's talk about the points. All right, so the first point is your computer. To make sure that your computer or computers plural are located in public places or common places. That means like the den or the family room or library if you have. And our kitchen is a great spot. And the reason we want to do this is because we would like we would like it out in the open so that any temptation to say things that shouldn't be said or to view websites that we shouldn't view will go out of the window because they know that it's a public place and anyone could walk in at any moment. Now they should definitely not be kept in the privacy of the room because then we have no clue. We have absolutely no clue of what is going on. So,
well, if you have to keep them in a bedroom, then make sure that you're checking or that you're doing your work in a nearby room so you can hear what's going on.
Exactly. And I got that from a district attorney who gave a little speech on internet safety. Now, the second point is to create the IDs and passwords for your children. If they're already on the computer, of course, they will already have them. In that case, make sure you know every password and every ID for all of their sites. And it's not so that we can be a Gestapo or anything. It's just we need to know what's going on in our lives because there's so many traps out there and we want to go in to see who they're friending, to see what they're saying in their tweets and texts. So it's a good idea.
And make sure to also make sure that they understand that we will look at them.
Exactly.
So it's just to make it clear to them that there's full disclosure on everything going on in the home. They are minors and we're responsible ultimately for them. So if that's what we have to let them know, that you could be getting involved in something that is over your head and you're not even aware of it. It's safety for them, not that we're just spies trying to get into their business.
Exactly. The next point number 3, is to equip them with safety rules. Ideally, you like to equip them prior to launching into those applications, but in case they've already gone on onto social networking sites and other sites, you need to, again, know those IDs and passwords. But I think that it's pretty key to equip them with an ID because there's some information you don't want thrown out there on the web about your children. There's some information that you just want to protect. They are your children to protect them.
The main rule is to not put in addresses, not give out personal information, not let people know where they are. Even if they think that that's innocent, someone who knows someone could get the information.
Exactly.
Not just their best friend down the street. So they really need to understand the big picture of all of this. And children being so naive don't understand hacking and pedophiles and all the
traps.
People spend all day trying to get information. That's their job. They get up in the morning and they use their time for bad rather than good.
Right.
So they need to understand what's going on out there.
Exactly. The next one is limit the computer and phone time. And the reason I say that is because if your child is locked away in some room on the computer or on their cell phone, that's less time for interacting with the family. And you want to nurture that godly foundation. Now, when I say limit the computer time or limit phone time, if you have a landline in your home, there is absolutely no reason the children should be locked away in their room on the phone all times of day and night, chatting with who knows the name of the people or person they're chatting with. I think that when my children walk through the door, we know that they have until 7 o'clock to complete their homework on the computer for computer time, and those cell phones remain in a certain room. They can use the landline to a certain extent to the time that we've allowed it. But that locked behind doors, not knowing what you are doing, we care about them. We want to protect them.
Well, the phone
Right.
has become something used for recreation, and it shouldn't be. Recreation should be recreation.
Exactly.
Certainly physical activity or something else worthwhile, I think.
Yes, interacting in person. Number 5 is to encourage their friends to come over. Now, if you have their friends over or they visit their friends, then they are building those social skills. They are interacting, and that's what we were created for. We are relational beings. I mean, God created us to relate to each other. So I think it's just really good to nurture that. If they're not doing it, if they're really shy, just invite someone over. I socially navigated my children's lives when they were really small, so that now they know how to engage those friendships. So it's
We also want to be careful, though, when they go to the homes of others, that it doesn't resort back to video game, computer thing.
Exactly.
That they go to have a social interaction, they have fun, they play a board game, they play a game, they play instruments, they play outside. Anything as an alternative to just getting on those games, anything electronic. They just need good quality time like kids did back in the day.
Back in the day. That brings us to point 6 is about video times, because video games are a major consumer of time, especially with boys. Boys love the challenge of videos, but as we know, videos have taken a dark turn since Pac-Man. So the key is to be aware of which games they're playing. Now, certain games allow them to emulate murderers and car thieves. They can emulate sorcerers or the devil even. And then some seemingly videos that are innocent at first. When you get to those higher levels, then comes the dark side. So you have to be aware of them. You have to equip your children with knowledge just to let them know which videos are acceptable and which are not. I mean, you're paying for them, so we should know the content, right?
We have to limit time so that there's no addiction to them.
Exactly.
Like everything else, everything in moderation.
Right. Number 7 is to be strict about age-appropriate content, age-appropriate television, age-appropriate videos, movies. If it says M for mature, then that means that a 12-year-old shouldn't be playing it. If it says T for teens, then a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old should not be playing them. So if we are strict on them, then I think that as they grow, then they can play with, watch, or engage in those in those forms of medium. So we need to just be careful of that. Number 8 is specialize in FaceTime and not Facebook. Now, Facebook is a wonderful tool, but I do think, and I'm sure you agree, that FaceTime is more important. It's more important, that social interaction, than sitting at a computer and speaking to someone, because you have that wall. So I think that, again, that interaction is paramount. Is paramount for kids.
FaceTime is important to build their social skills and their ability to work out their differences and things of that nature, and not isolate themselves in a room with a machine.
Right, a machine. You said it.
Basically is what it is.
That is what it is. It's a machine. Number 9 is music. Need I say more about that? I mean, we know that certain music glorifies certain things. There are music, there are lyrics that glorify drugs and sex and money, and there are even hardcore music that glorifies darkness. We want to be aware of what our children are listening to. We want to be attuned to them, listen to the lyric. And there there is this little caption on the outside of the albums if you're buying the physical album, which says explicit or not, or non-explicit. And the explicit ones, as Christians, we definitely should stay away from. We don't want to box them in, but we do want to equip them with a quality content.
So we want to supervise iTunes purchases, video games, anything that they're buying, any kind of a game, any kind of a book, even something on Kindle or whatever. You know,
Yes.
everything's a danger. So we need to supervise and okay every purchase before it's made.
I'm glad you said books because I left that out. Number 10 is just use your godly wisdom, the wisdom God has given you as a parent. Use discernment. We are not here to be on top of them and to bark commands at them. We're here to love them. So ask God for wisdom. Ask Him for discernment in making your purchases, because after all, you know, a lot of this media is a purchase. And it is a part of being an effective parent, is to know your child and know what they're doing. They want you to. I mean, they don't want you to give them open reins. They know that it's a part of love because we love them. Now, let me just spend like a second talking about the different social media, because we didn't really touch on it. I think that social media is wonderful. I use it. But there's certain things children should not be doing. Number one is using tweets as open texting. Now, you can only use 140 characters. So you go out there and you send a tweet. It's so similar to texting, but only it's open to the entire world. So we need to be very careful with what we say, because when future employers, universities, many people go in and they collect data to find out your character. If you say a wrong thing, if you do a wrong thing, then it could impact your job, your
ability to get into schools, get
a good
jobs. The children don't really understand the long-reaching ramifications.
Right.
This is just fun to them, and they need to understand that it's used as much for bad as good, to hurt
Exactly.
people, cyberbullying, all of these issues. For me, young children should just never be on it at all.
I completely
I think
agree.
age 18 is a good point. I don't know if people would agree, but
Well, good luck on that one. I think that you're absolutely correct in that setting an age for your children to go on to these websites, and to engage in some of this media is wonderful to do. However, I think equipping them, because we don't know, if they have access to it at schools, at friends' homes. I think that if we equip them with knowledge and safety rules, then that would go a long way in helping them, because there's a huge market on the internet for pedophiles, or at least they considered a huge market. I remember this district attorney said that one pedophile posed as a 15-year-old boy and asked a 14-year-old girl, to do certain things on the camera. Within 3 minutes, that video had gone out to about 4 continents and several hundred hits on that particular video of this girl supposedly acting out certain things for this boy who she thought was someone interested in her. So we have to be very careful, because it does allow them to live completely different lives. So they think that they're having fun, but as you said, it is not all fun and games. It has long-term implications. And we just hope that you use your godly wisdom, pray about it, pray before you have your conversation, let God guide you as you guide your children. And we thank you. I hope these points are useful for you. Go onto the internet and get more information about the various tools, giving the age range, etc. And just know what they're talking about, know what they're doing, know their personalities outside of your home. That is key. Okay, and we thank you so much for your time on this video, and we'll see you in future videos.